Hey, what's up? I have my day structures and algorithms two midterm coming up. It's at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so I have to make sure I really knock out the park with this one, especially considering as a transfer student to fully matriculate into the CS degree at UMD, I have to ace some gateway courses or at least get a B minus or above. This is one of those gateway courses, so there's some stakes involved here. With the first midterm, did not do as well as I wanted. Plus, I lost 10 points because I put the wrong TA's name and time. Just to give some quick context, because I do go to the recitations and discussions. What happened was that the recitation/discussions are at the 3 p.m., which is 2 hours after the main class. However, I don't leave the area, the CS building, so I'll settle down 2 p.m. wherever. And I actually never knew the TA's name because I never actually call his name. I just raise my hand, however. But nonetheless, that was my bad. 10 points is excessive, but you get the points back if you just don't make the mistake again. So I'm hoping not to do that. Besides that, though, it's been mostly mundane studying for the midterm. Obviously, there's some fun parts. I think for me, the most fun parts and the most engaging parts are when I feel like I'm rapidly iterating or building upon knowledge. Like when I was covering traversal methods for binary trees. That was really fun. 'Cause I was going through like depth first, which was like in order, post order, pre order. You have like breadth first and all that. I was like seeing, okay, how does this work? How does this work? If you had this certain arrangement of numbers, could you reconstruct how the in order or post order would have recreated that or something like that? Um, so I was really fun versus something like polymorphic lists, which was much more disengaging. I nearly wanted to stop studying entirely. So I think it's been interesting to see what topics I don't know if it's vibe or just really enjoy. I think also a large part of it goes into not even difficulty, but how it's formatted, like how easy it is to grasp it. So like for the traversal methods, an easy way to grasp it for me was just do visualizations versus something like polymorphic list, which maybe there's some visualization there that clicks it for people, but I haven't seen that yet. So maybe that's what's coming into play here as someone who's much more of a visual learner, I think. But it's been nice. It's been nice. I don't know. I think personally, when I do like these day sprints when I'm working on a project or studying for something, most times I either prefer if it's math or project. Because for CS, it's much more. It's like with CS, it's not just equations you have to memorize and practice problems. Like, oh, you have to memorize these rules and stuff like that. But with math, even though I have a math midterm coming up, so maybe I'll start complaining about that soon. With math, it's like you just memorize the equations, and as long as geometry isn't involved, then it's fairly simple, right? Just get more practice and experience. And with projects are much like the best way to spend a day, in my opinion, because with projects, even though you run into like these bugs that take hours to debug, you just feel like when you finish it or after 24 hours, you feel like you just did a lot. Like, oh, wow, that was a great way to spend my day. Like, I remember when I was working on the RAG chatbot for the student government board at the University of Pittsburgh, and I was like spending day after day working on it. I was like, wow, this is so much fun. This is so engaging. You know, this was a really long time to do this. Like, I've cut some time here. The whole thing, even though not every part was fun. The whole thing just felt really engaging. And you just felt really re-energized in a way after it. So I don't know. I think projects are really my favorite way to spend my days. But besides family and friends and all that, and Bible study and stuff like that. Um, so back to the midterm, I think it's really just a matter of studying practice. My strategy with these midterms, especially for classes like CS, is I do a quick overview of all the slides. I get my paper, I get my notebook, pen, or pencil. Pencil is usually best if you want to really get the equations down, but for general content, I think pencil works because it just allows you to move smoother and faster. I get my pen. I just like write down the notes. So then after a while, I can officially say technically I've seen everything I need to know. So for every question, the knowledge resides somewhere in my brain. Maybe it's not very faint or maybe it's very deep or something like that, but it's there somewhere, so I just have to pull it out. And then from there, that's when I get more to the practice. For different topics, I may go a bit more deep. So like if it was binary trees and traversal stuff, I did that because I saw on the practice exam that was a question that did seem a bit tricky. It was a topic I did enjoy. But for other ones, I just like skimmed through it. So even now, I'm looking through the practices and I'm like, oh, there's a topic I probably shouldn't skim through, so I'm going to go back and review it. But just keep on doing that. I think hopefully it should be fine. Even though for this midterm, I really want to knock out to not only to kind of offset the previous midterm, which was I think a high C without the 10. If I get the 10 points back, we're not putting the TA and the discussion time wrong. So I have to really get that right. But yeah, I'm excited. The projects so far, the thing that's where I think is interesting. The projects aren't hard in themselves. It's much more the exams. So you just have to, work on that and make sure I ace the exams, and then for the rest of the semester we should be on a good track. Besides that though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.